Hello. I mean, it's been a pretty decent week for uni ball, I'd say. We've basically got one proper week left, and that is week 13. Obviously, there's some games happening in week 14, but it's basically it's a lot of Div 2 games. There's only a few that really have any proper stakes, and then UE versus Nottingham. So week 13 is our final big week. Um, it's been an interesting day for sport tankers. I'm sure if you've been paying attention to the socials, our lovely man in the middle here, the old Cam Pewter, has decided to put out some percentages, which we're going to force him to talk through because otherwise people are going to get angry because they always get angry, despite the fact that we're just guessing. But we are going to have some guesses as well. Guesses.
We're not doing this again, surely.
They're guesses.
Don't send these guesses to any Bucks officials. Don't send them. You're going to think about sending them, but don't. Bucks officials. SJ's having some headphone troubles. Are you? Cam,
What?
say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
You hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
No, you melon. Can SJ hear you?
Your mic keeps cutting out though.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
there you
not
go.
now.
That was fine there.
When you leant into it, it was like.
What, mine or
Yeah,
SJ's?
you got to eat
yours.
it, mate.
Oh, yeah. 250 quid on this mic, and I have to properly shove it into my mouth. So, week 12, we've got some interesting results. And then, I mean, there's some all to play for. So, obviously, the show, we're going to get into the percentages later and do the picks. Everyone knows that. Jamie should be joining us. I don't really know where he is. I told him that this would be the time. But here we go. Leeds Beckett beat Loughborough 26. No, Loughborough beat Leeds Beckett 26-6. UE Bullets. Hello, Durham Saints. Would you like to give me an apology? Also, it's nice to see. It's nice to see everyone in this lovely University American football community. You're not so angry with that national prem rankings now, are you? No, you're going to take that one and be nice and calm with it this week, aren't you? Yeah. The UE Bullets 62.
Dev's grappling
What?
with uni students.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost 30 years old, but Bullets beat Durham 62-0. Right, well, we'll get into that, Mike. Hold on a second. Warwick beat Leeds 24-14. We'll say lots of tech issues on that one. We're going to go back to Warwick during the playoffs as a make good. But it was a great game. Liverpool beat Newcastle 26-13. I mean, it doesn't mean much. Good for
I was
Liverpool.
going to say it means nothing.
It does mean
pointless for both teams.
That
but
Hallam-
it's a great score.
Newcastle beating Hallam is 10 times funnier now.
Huh?
Newcastle didn't play Hallam.
Newcastle beating Hallam is 10 times funny. Oh no! Oh my god! I got the Leeds wrong. Renegade NTU. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's really weird. Yeah, Liverpool beating Newcastle. I mean, we'll get into it, but it's strange. SGS beat Portsmouth 14-3. Cardiff aren't safe yet. Exeter beat them 28-17. Napier Knights, they get my number one ranking now, and they beat Glasgow 24-0. Aberdeen, another walkover, this time to Stirling. Northumbria beat LJMU 14-6, a very low score. We'll get into that. And some naughty actions of a certain quarterback. UClan beat Manchester 21-6. Nottingham Green shut out the Longhorns 27-0. Hallam beat Coventry 23-0. Oxford shut out Brighton 30-0. Hertfordshire beat Reading 34-10. Bath Killer Bees outlast Southampton 17-6. Bath Killer Bees have got a very, very busy week. They're playing tomorrow and Sunday. Busy week. For God's sake, Swansea Titans. How have you done it again? They lose 2-0 to the Bristol Barracuda. Essex give a walkover to the Kent Falcons. KCL beat UCL 13-6. York put on a bit better of a performance against the Jaguars 42-0. Kiel get their first win of the season against Staffordshire 22-12. Cambridge beat ARU 33-7. Oxford Brook shut out Solent 16-0. Gloucestershire beat the Bath Spa Bulldogs 27-12. The Bullets 2s beat Aberystwyth 38-9. Kingston. What is happening in Kingston? They lose to the Greenwich Mariners 14-0. And the City Wolfpack pick up a big, huge, monumentous victory over the Imperial Immortals 26-12.
Just quickly,
I've seen a quite in the chat thoughts on Jed's 6-game ban. Is that the
Okay.
Bournemouth 6-game ban?
Don't worry, we are going to look at the news flash. We have been alerted.
Been alerted. Just coming to us now.
We have been alerted.
Breaking news.
The news flash. It's about a couple of memes floating around in the news flash. Primarily, Jed. Should we jump into the news flash, or should we go?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah, might as well.
So we're going to go to the news flash. So, which one's this one? I think this is number 3 of this year.
Yeah, it's number 3 of the year.
No, I've got 2 up because 2 of them are quite funny. No, that's number 2. This is number 3. We'll start out with number 3.
Yeah, what's the deal with that then?
So
6-game ban for trying to steal playbooks and
here's the thing. Like, we knew of Jed as we had some Jed imposters coming into the chat to try and slander Jed's good name. I don't know. But yeah, it seems that this was something that
Can we get Jed on the show?
No.
Actual Jed.
let him justify.
we were actually told about this fairly early on to the season.
We were talking about this months ago.
We were told about it because it was we believe that the person in question was posing as a new student, or at least that's what we were told by I think it was Bath. I think it was Bath. We were told by Bath that that's what was going on, and it just appears that it's taken up to this point. But I imagine it's probably the same thing because it is. So 6-game ban for bringing the game into disrepute by unethically trying to gain access to the other team's playbooks and training film.
What is ethically gaining access?
Yeah, how would you ethically go about that?
Please, may I have your playbook?
Yeah, I think
Can you send it to
I think
me?
that would be ethically gaining access to it. Just
I think there's
asking nicely.
I think there's a head coach here in Uniball that's good at doing that with playbooks, but we'll leave it there.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's more strange that we heard about that right at the start of the season and only now has it taken effect. I mean, there's a fair few, there's some other penalties and too many people are kicking down players, for God's sake. Stop it. Stop kicking down players.
I'm more interested in the
late hit out of bounds where you injure someone and stand over them and laugh at them. That's just evil.
Yeah, but it happens though. Let's go through. Let's see if there's any game management reports that are. Oh my God! I mean, Hearts Hurricanes. Yeah, I mean, no, that one's pretty by the by. I think Glasgow's got a funny one.
6-game ban's got to be the longest I've ever seen.
I
Yeah,
don't think I've seen a longer one. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see.
That's
No,
longer.
hang on.
That's longer than Tom Brady's suspension.
for juicing the balls. Edge Hill. No.
Free Jed.
Glasgow game kicked off 61 minutes late due to a similar delay for the last home game. Glasgow had to remark all 4 sets of short yard line extensions. They then delayed their briefing. A miscommunication with the collection of their own jerseys had Edinburgh having to borrow Glasgow's alternate shirts. Can't be wearing the team you're facing's alternate kits. Not a good look. Not a good look. But I mean, still doesn't hold a candle to Derby. Look at the Worcester game report. Is that from this week, Matthew? Worcester. Let me find it. Worcester.
Not seeing Worcester on there at all.
I can't see Worcester on there. Which week's it from, Matthew? And we'll have a look.
Also,
No.
I know the Derby one you're talking about.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah, we'll get into the Derby one for people who don't know. Derby, this was basically what's made them become relegated, was they refused to play because they had jerseys and the pitch was freshly painted and they didn't want to get paint on their jerseys. That is true. That was years and years ago. Worcester Royals. The field had been marked, leaving only 5-yard end zone. 5-yard end zones, Christ.
5-yard ends.
Are you what?
Short 80-yard field. It was observed that the 5-yard lines got progressively further apart. Being approximately 7 or 8 yards apart in the centre of the field, but there are always 4 short yard line extension markers between each pair of 5-yard lines. Markings
is this
vary
one?
between. It's on the week. It's on the second one.
The week
The
before,
markings
yeah.
vary between 2 and 4 feet apart in different places, and rarely match the equally uneven inbounds markings. The field was not in ideal condition due to a rugby match on the same pitch just prior. I mean, I've been to that pitch. I mean, it's a mud bowl no matter what time of year you go.
I mean, they're saying here that Jed took a
voluntary 2-game ban anyway, and then got hit with a further 6-game ban afterwards.
So he set himself out for 2 games.
In the hopes that
I'm
it'd make him look really
punishing
good to
myself.
Bafra.
Sorry, guys, I've got to sit. I've got to sit this one out. Double ban.
He hoped it'd make him look like a little golden boy to Bafra. Like, I promise, I'm really sorry. Sacked him off
That is
anyway.
really funny. I mean, but it appears that Jed has been caught and won't hear from Jed again.
Is Jed a coach, a player, or a?
That's a good question. I don't actually know. I mean, it'd be
I hope it's not a player. It'd be really, really upsetting if like.
Who? What? As in,
I
who is
think
Jed?
it'd be more upsetting if it was a coach.
Posing as a fresher. I thought he was going to play
That's what we were told that Jed did. He posted the freshers group chat. I wonder how he got found out.
Jed ain't done nothing but politely ask for playbooks in the group chat.
That sounds ethical to me.
That really does sound ethical.
It's not his fault they hand them over.
But it's more so. I wonder how he got caught out.
Well, they probably went. Oh,
You're,
so you were
hi,
training
I'm.
So you were training them? Oh, no.
He didn't actually get the playbook, so he just tried to, got caught.
I really want to know how he got caught.
Absolutely. It was his second week at uni. Oh gosh.
Oh no!
What?
Oh my god.
She's never even played the sport before. And said, I've joined all the teams.
Oh,
I just got the effort.
I
First year
thought
player hadn't taken a snap yet. Oh.
That's what Mike says. Let's have a look. What do you say? OBU kicked the
Huddle
kicked
highlights.
6 times the first time, recovered the ball and all 4 of them. Only one could be called an onside kick. Amazing. But no, but to be fair, like even Mike knows about the Worcester pitch. Worcester field awful. A few years ago, there was a pic of the Universe rowing team racing between the goalposts when. Christ.
Quite good. I can't get over that though. First year player, second week of uni, never even taken a snap of the ball, and he thinks, you know what? Let me go get every other team's playbook.
I mean, I tell you what, if it worked though, he's the most popular man on that team.
I
apparently
can't tell what's true.
No,
Got
there's
caught from pre-season
versus UW2 highlight reel and huddle.
Highlight reels of what are we watching? Highlight reels
check
of
his
Big
huddle
One
from pre-season
Southwest.
versus UE.
Check his huddle
Let me
tape from pre-season.
What's his surname? I want to have a look at this.
Someone link it.
I'll watch it.
Oh, here we go. This is what this is what the rundown's all about. None of this. He died for the badge.
He died for the badge.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
you gotta respect it.
Oh gosh. I'm really like we will get into like doing the reviews and previews and predictions and playoffs and all that nonsense. But it's Jed o'clock. We're gonna.
This is way more important.
Highlight, I won't lie.
It goes down in history.
Yeah.
What's his name then? Let me try and find him.
Look at issue 47. Oh my god, all the way back in December. Right, okay. Let's have a look.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's his LinkedIn, not his huddle. There's his huddle.
Hold, give me 1 second. I just want to read one out here. Read one more. Bafra newsflash. With 4:48 remaining in the third quarter, number 11 addressed a female official as darling. When told this was an inappropriate way to address a female official, number 11 laughed at her and walked away. This was deemed to be sexist due to his disregard for showing respect to a female official and therefore flagrant. Easy, don't do that. Easy, poor decision. Easy, poor decision there.
I'm not seeing any highlights on his account.
Right, hang on. Upon arrival at the venue, the home team had yet to arrange changing rooms for either team or the officials. The officials were able to change in the nearby sports centre. The field was not initially marked, but was marked as an 80 yards due to the minimum standard with spray paint. Kickoff was delayed an hour to allow the home team to finish painting the field. The field was marked in 3 different colours due to the rugby post being installed upside down. The crossbar was significantly too high, With the agreement of both head coaches, the posts were regarded and no field goals were attempted. Come on, Worcester. I've been to that ground and it's
Is it good?
yeah.
Speechless.
Beer
In
selection's good. Beer selection's good if that's of any interest to anyone.
Thanks,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
Yeah.
let's do
It's,
some actual work now.
It just
I
feels we spent
suppose.
15 minutes talking about Jed.
Jed,
Poor Jeff. Bring him up.
rest in peace. So I mean, so if we're looking at week 12, there's a few big results. Obviously, UE beating Durham by that much. I will say, like my sort of takeaway from that game was, I went to go and watch that game, and I was more just disappointed. That was not the same Durham team that beat Notts the week prior.
I know.
I believe they had 14 people who weren't there, including one of their better American players over there. Oh my God. I don't need you to say, yeah, I'm just talking to the camera. We have got an audience. It's not just me and you talking. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a case of Durham are going to. You can't count Durham out, even though the scoreline's pretty bad. But yeah, just disappointed.
He's
Now
trying
you
so hard not to say yeah.
now you can chime in, Cam, if you'd like.
I mean, yeah, it's like
Shut up,
I
Cam.
sort of.
Cam, mate, to be honest, mate, you weren't there, so you weren't
don't know
there.
ball.
You don't know ball. I know ball again. I'm winning predictions again.
Oh, you're finally back on top.
88% this week, mate. I'm
Yeah,
on
that
your
was just because you forced. That was because you forced Bath Bar upon me.
No, you said Bath Spa last week, and you
I
deserved.
didn't mean to. You know I didn't mean to.
No, do you want to know how I don't know that? Because there was literally a Bath Killer Bees game earlier in the predictions,
Yeah,
I'm not the smartest.
and you're in charge of the numbers and playoff. Oh Christ, what have we
Yeah,
done?
Numbers is different, isn't it? Right.
So, I mean, Warwick being Leeds is huge. I mean, realistically, I'd say at the start of the season, I don't think anyone saw Warwick, one game away from winning the Prem North. I mean, is that fair to say?
yeah,
No.
definitely.
Yes, it's fair to say. Sorry.
I mean, just consistency. They've managed to prove themselves. I think it's absolutely massive. I do think the playoffs are going to be very, very difficult for the North. If I'm honest, I think the South are the stronger half.
we said this, didn't we? It's a lot stronger.
It's now sort of like I've been able to see NTU. Obviously, NTU have fallen off a bit. Apparently, their QB graduated in January. Could be a cause for the loss to Newcastle and then the bad scoreline against Warwick. But I mean, even if you want to take that away from Warwick because NTU had their quarterback missing, they've just beaten Leeds by 10. Like Warwick are the best Prem North team. But they've still got to face Liverpool. Leeds have still got to face NTU. But I mean, Liverpool coming off their first win. Could we see a massive upset? Liverpool beating Warwick? I don't think so. But it's on the cards.
I think the Prem South will roll the North in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not really a.
I don't know if roll. I think I'm probably going to be picking more Prem South teams than Prem North teams. I'll put it just like that, But roll, I don't know roll, but yeah, I mean, especially considering that I've seen all of the Prem South teams play. Haven't seen Newcastle or Liverpool, but I have seen obviously Warwick, NTU, and Leeds.
Do you think Exeter will beat Leeds?
Do I think Exeter will beat Leeds? I think that'll be a good game. Depends where it's played. That'll be played in. I think Leeds.
That is a long way.
I think Leeds will probably take that. I think that would be a travel game.
Yeah, would that be?
Now watch him put it at like 12 o'clock and say, "Oh, we couldn't get up."
Oh,
Yeah.
10 a.m. He's always a 10 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah, I think that'd be
10
good. But it's for me, it's like obviously dependent on the Portsmouth Birmingham game. Realistically, if it comes down to Warwick versus Cardiff, which is looking likely, I think that'll be a tough game, and hopefully I'll be there for it because I think it'll be a good game. I think that'll be a tough game for both of them, if I'm completely honest. But NTU are going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to have
Portsmouth.
Portsmouth. Yeah, I mean that's pretty. I think that's Portsmouth all the way, and then
These are some long trips.
and then SGS or Newcastle have got to come to SGS. That's a long trip. That's a long old trip. But Liverpool are out anyway. But we'll get into it in the previews. Cardiff aren't safe yet, but Birmingham have got to get through a very, very hard opponent if they want to stay Premiership team. Scottish one. I'm sure if you haven't seen, I've put my rankings post up already today, and Edinburgh beating Glasgow plus the poor scores from Napier. The poor scores from Northumbria. Napier are the best team in the north, as far as I'm concerned. Nottingham Green, I think I've been underselling Green a little bit, but I still think Napier are the best team in the north. You got anything to say about that?
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's between them and Nottingham Green.
But what's going on at Northumbria? Because it seems that what's with those score lines? Can they not do it without?
Do you want to? From what I've been told,
Go on.
apparently morale has dropped. Don't understand how.
Makes sense. It's a killer.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I'm sure will come up on the news flash, but Aaron O'Coin apparently has been suspended for a couple of games for targeting. So that's going to be interesting. Like come the playoffs, they've still got a game this week, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
No, they don't. They don't have a game this week. So basically, yeah, he's out for the first playoff game. But in my first guess, it'll be against Leicester, and I still think Northumbria will win that game. I mean, UCLan beating Manchester, not much there. Green beating Leicester, not much there. Hallam beating Coventry, strange game. There's
Like a tough watch or?
Yeah, it was a strange game. I'm happy I went and did it, but it was a strange game. I mean, the QB for the Jets went down right at the end of the first half, and then they had to put their running back in as QB, and then I think they ran 3 run plays. Coventry did. The rest were pass plays, and it didn't go well. But it was a lot closer, not in scoreline, but in gameplay than I thought it would be. So, I mean, Hallam have got Nottingham this week, and I can't see Hallam winning that one, if I'm honest. Moving on to the southern one. Oxford shut out Brighton. Are we surprised?
A little bit.
Yes, I'm surprised.
I'm surprised it was a shutout. I'm not surprised who won. But
yeah.
Oxford
I've got some stats for that game if you'd like them.
Go on then.
Oh, I've got some stats for you. Let's vamp for a while I get the stats up. You are going to be very, very, very unimpressed with these stats. What do you think? Give me the over-under for Brighton's total yards.
50.
I'm saying 40.
Is that over-under?
No, 40.5.
You saying over or under?
Yeah, under that.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll go for the under 50 as well.
I'm going under 20.
No.
20.
No, so Brighton had 37 yards.
I was about to say 38.5.
They had average yards per play for Brighton was 0.9. The average yards for Oxford were 4.2. Total yards for Oxford 248. Oxford converted all of their 4th down and 2-point plays. Brighton didn't convert any 3rd or 4th downs.
Where have you got this from?
Friend of mine.
Oh, it's a good friend, that.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, he said, "Do you want some stats for the rundown today?" And I was like, "I always want stats for the rundown."
We like stats. Can we make informed decisions?
Yes. Obviously, Brighton versus Brunel this week. I'll be there. SJ, he won't be there. Strangely.
What? Where am I?
I don't know. Where are you?
I'm there.
Yeah, but you're not there mentally, mate. Fucking lock in.
I'm already in the playoffs, mate.
I'm already in the playoffs. KCL. I mean, I mean, Bath getting a good win against Southampton. I think Bath have got a few games coming. They're playing tomorrow against Bristol. They're playing on Sunday against Swansea. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Bath are making a late push, but they always tend to do this: play on a Wednesday, play on a Sunday, play on a Sunday. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see. Obviously, Hertfordshire beating Reading by 24. Anyone got anything to say about that?
The biggest takeaway of that is 10 points from Reading.
Yep, I mean, Reading are relegated now. I mean, we knew this, but they're...
Yeah, but 10 points. I'm no disrespect to Reading, but you've let Reading score 10 points on you. How's that happened?
Yeah, but that's more your hatred for Hearts.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's just bias.
Right,
There's no bias. We're non-biased here.
I'm going to say that I am biased because I'm going to break into something.
Swear. Never would have known.
Who do you think we'll do Q&A in a bit.
Yui Glaze.
Hang on a second. The Southwest one is the worst division in Uniball in a long, long time, and I think it's time that we stop beating around the bush and saying, "Oh yeah, Bournemouth." Take Bournemouth out of it. Obviously, what is that division?
Terrible.
Why? What does this keep happening?
2-0's pretty.
Yeah,
do you know how the
it's
safety
not.
happened?
Apparently, just QB sacked in the end zone.
He's done it again.
I just heard it was QB sacked in the end
Honestly,
zone.
I'm so. Bath versus Stag was good first half. Bath got a pick 6 in the second half, and the detail of. But yeah, I think Bath are going to make an interesting run. Bath are very much like this week stretch of games. Is going to really. I think it's going to give a bit of more legitimacy to the Southwest one, if I'm completely honest. But especially considering that Bath's results with Bournemouth were getting slightly closer. I'd be interested to see if they play a third time. But
There you go.
QB
QB sacked after Cuda fumbled number 1.
I just can't like what's
It's such a predictable thing to happen as well. It's not impressive.
That is unreal.
Like Swansea have been like the biggest, just like the whole season. SW1 is real Uniball.
It's Uniball 10 years ago. Is what it is.
Heritage.
Yeah, it's real Div 2 Uniball. That's what it is. Fucking Div 3, But I don't know.
Div.
Secret division. I don't know, but, we haven't really got to deal with much Southwest One stuff anymore. So thank God.
They're going to be in the playoffs. That's the thing. Someone out of those 4 teams is making the playoffs with Bournemouth.
No, don't say with Bournemouth.
There's a possibility. There's supposed to be 3 of them do.
There is a possibility that 3 of them do.
Christ.
Not a
Bath,
fun
Bath,
possibility.
and Cuda all should have been better against Swansea, but Bobcats for problem. Yeah, Mike's completely right there. What do you expect when Southwest 2 is fucking wank? Southwest 2. Southwest. To be fair, that is also true.
That's a really good point.
The problem is that I think the Bullets 2s are legit, but like the loss to Plymouth right at the start of the season just completely ruined it, because now Plymouth are now number 1. They've got to face Gloss and Aberystwyth, and after the win the Bullets 2s had over Aberystwyth, I really don't see Plymouth losing. But no, to be fair, that comment's completely fine. That is completely factually correct. Yeah, I mean, but we don't have to talk about it much anymore. Thank God. I'm gonna not miss talking about the Southwest one and basically trying to make it seem interesting when it's not. Cuda should be in the playoffs unless Bath wins out, and that's what's interesting. That's what's interesting is if Bath win out, and I think they've got the capability to do so, if I'm honest. D2, some surprising results. Obviously, we know that both City and Kiel want their time. So congratulations to both of them. I mean, especially for City, they've still got to face Kingston, which I think could be an interesting one, especially because Kingston getting shut out against the Mariners is a bit of a shocking result. But Kiel, congratulations. You're commenting like we should have picked you. Don't know if we can say that. But
This is what I don't understand is people are like, oh, they didn't pick us. It's like, brother, you've not won a game in like a year.
mate, Kiel haven't won a game in like multiple years. So
Well,
don't.
it's like we pick Chichester to lose and they win, and they go, "Oh, look at you, dickheads! You don't know anything."
How dare you?
It's
No,
like,
it's like
that's an upset victory, Kiel. Like it just is.
They finally won.
City
It's
want us to
meaningless.
talk about them.
Yeah, and we are talking about like this.
We
This
will
is it.
talk.
This is it. We are talking about congratulations.
Well done. You beat a team with 0 wins.
It's not that impressive. Like, and you still got to get over Kingston to do anything. You know,
maybe it's a more doable task than it used to be after the result against Greenwich, but you still got to get at least a draw against Kingston.
No, I'm hating a bit much. That's a good comeback. That's a great comeback.
Yeah, great comeback.
I will say though, we were talking about it when we were doing the percentages and stuff that like Imperial are like in the bracket of teams that are not
0.
mathematically
Well,
out.
like,
And
They're
it's,
like technically qualifiable, and it's like in reality.
yeah, we'll get into it, but I mean, Gloucestershire versus beating Bath Spa, good for Gloucestershire. I mean, it's good to get a win. Oxford, obviously, Kingston losing, they're going down in the rankings. Oxford Brooks are now my favourites for the win in the south. Cambridge Python's doing better against ARU. I'm more surprised that they even lost to ARU in the first place.
Is that the team with the Marines?
Yeah, Marines.
The Marines came back.
They must have called in support.
Oh no! Well, this is what's weird is that they couldn't travel to the game last week against ARU, but they could travel to this one. Doesn't make sense, does it?
Hang on a minute.
No, I actually spoke to an ARU. I spoke to an ARU player about the game, and apparently it was literally just Cambridge's QB. Apparently,
Marine
won them the game.
The Marine.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I mean, if anyone, has anyone got anything else to say about week 12? Well, actually, no. No, I don't. I've got week 13 stuff, but not week 12 stuff.
No.
Not really.
I mean, it was a good week.
Good week, yeah. Some football.
A few upsets.
Good week, upsets. You know, everything's sort of shaping up a bit. There are some divisional winners. We'll start putting those out. I know Green, Notts Green have, Bournemouth have, Northumbria have. Who else have? Brunel. Derby have.
I think Derby are going back to Div 1.
They are.
Finally.
That took a lot long. That took a lot longer than everyone thought it would. Which is
we thought they'd go straight back up.
Yeah.
I think Sheffield Sabres might.
No, they haven't.
No,
they haven't. They've still got to face York in the final week.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No. To be fair, this is what I mean. So we'll get into week 13. Actually, Cam, talk to me about the percentages.
The percentages.
Woohoo! Yeah. So there's obviously a few teams that are mathematically guaranteed playoffs. There's no way, no matter even if they have games left to play, if they lose them all, they still make playoffs. Doesn't matter what happens, except for walkovers. I can't magically predict walkovers. If a walkover exists in the future, my percentages are meaningless. So, Oxford Brooks, Kingston, Plymouth, Sussex, all qualified from South 2. So that's 4 of the spots gone. UWE is pretty much guaranteed at this point. Yeah, I mean, I have my predicted brackets for each kind of division as well, because it's kind of easy to look at. But obviously,
again, to clarify to people,
because I've already had comments about this, it's maths. We're not like looking at games and going, oh,
let's be real though,
no one's beating this, or this is definitely going to win.
It's just maths. That's why it's percentages, guarantees.
He said 100% guaranteed, and you put them as 98%. You wallad.
I will say that Cam did say we are there.
We're not involved.
Yeah,
We're not involved.
There's no we are here. Me and SJ, nothing.
To correct SJ, Kent are not 100% guaranteed.
How are they not? Explain to me.
If they...
What did I say to you, Tabs?
I don't remember. What did you say to me?
I don't remember.
They're on 6 wins.
Yeah.
You're telling me a team on 6
Are they?
wins might not make playoffs?
Bucks playing, they showed them on 5. That's why. And that was after the update.
Nah, they're on 5. Oh, they're
So-
on 5. Sorry.
Yeah, they are on 5. Yeah, they're not mathematically guaranteed.
Valid.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
here
you
we
go.
go.
Oh,
there we go. I know it's right.
Absolutely got him for the
Basically,
boy.
they can still come first if Kings loses really hard and they win their game. They're probably going to stay top 2. Like there's a reason they're 90%. It's quite likely. Basically, if UCL beat them, if UCL beat them and UEA win, in theory they can drop down to 3rd, and then if they lose hard enough, their points against looks really bad and they're the worst 3rd place team. But probably won't happen. That's why they're still up there at 90%. Because it's a lot of games that need to go in their favour that probably won't happen. But I think this, it's one of those things. But that's the South 1. I was talking about South 2. Come on. Anyway, I've got my mathematical bracket for
Hang on a
South
second.
2.
Before you give this mathematical bracket, we're going to do the disclaimer. This is just based on his maths. This isn't factually correct. This is based on Cam's.
We don't claim any of this.
No, this is not.
It also
Do
takes
not
into
send
account
this
no
to.
walkovers in future.
Don't send this to your coaches, and if you're a coach watching, don't send it to your players.
Don't send it to your SU.
Don't send it to your SU. Don't send it to any other teams. Do not send it to any Bucks officials, especially not Tonye. Don't send it to Tonye because it's not real. It's just math.
Make it sound like we're doing something really, really bad, and if he finds out, we're murdered.
Because every year, well, we can't actually. Yeah, that's not fair. I can't have a go because I did make a bit of a whoopsie last year.
I'm partly to blame as that. That's the problem.
little bit of an oopsie. What do you mean you're partly to blame? You're fully to blame.
It wasn't my fault.
So
I take no
for
conflict in what I did.
the South 2,
50-50.
I have Oxford Bricks versus QMBL as one of the games. I have Plymouth playing Surrey. I have Kingston playing the UWE2s, and I have Sussex playing Greenwich.
Give me that again. Sorry, I was wondering about where SJ had gone. Give me that again.
I was disappointed.
No, sorry.
I got OBE.
Good game. Good effort, Cam. Do you know? I could tell what's happened here. The people who don't want you to know these things, they found
him in his attic.
They've hacked him. They've hacked him. I mean, OB versus QMPL. That's a good game.
I heard Kingston versus UE.
That's a good game.
The 2s. Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, the 2s.
They have actually played the actual ones.
Who have?
I died. I don't know how
that happened. When did I die?
Start again.
Oh, okay. When did I vanish?
After QMBL versus OBU.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
QMBL versus OBU. Sussex versus Greenwich. As them. Not as in. Yeah. Plymouth versus Surrey.
And Kingston versus the UWE2s.
That's a good game. That's a good game.
That is.
Those are some pretty decent. I mean, considering that, I just hope we don't get what we have the last few years, where we have loads of interdivisionary matchups in the first round of the playoffs, because that's really boring.
It was very boring last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. What about the North? Give me some
Div 2 North.
I mean, I already have the Div 2 North pretty cut and dry. I think there's not much world in which the two teams kind of. There's 10 teams that can mathematically make playoffs. Yeah. I think there's 2 that really just aren't. Staffordshire, whilst they could, they've walked over a game. I might as well just get rid of them now. And AIU need to beat Lincoln and have Cambridge win, basically, or they need to batter Lincoln, which is possible. So I'm not ruling them out, but results need to go in their favour. Kind of an if.
So currently, I have.
Hang on a second, Michael. I don't know where Jamie is because he said he was supposed to be here, and I told him the time. Get back to it.
Currently, I have again from
1 seed at home to 4 seed at home. I have the Sheffield Sabres versus York Centurions.
Into Div 1 there.
And then
Derby versus Cambridge.
Okay, yep.
Followed
by Edgehill versus Lincoln.
Interesting game.
And Lancaster versus Sunderland.
Strange game. Honestly, like I still can't get over Sunderland being a playoff team now after what happened a few years ago. But
I mean, obviously,
they're here, so
Edgehill and Lancaster are kind of like rotational.
It's literally just whoever wins.
Yeah, someone needs to tell me, one of you two maths geniuses, tell me how did Lancaster win the Northeastern?
By beating
Northwestern.
By beating Edgehill.
Just by beating Edgehill, not by points or anything.
Pretty much, yeah. If they beat
Edgehill,
okay.
Go
right. Those are well, unless you've got D1 stuff, have you?
Yeah,
I got my D1 brackets.
Let's go. Let's crack into some D1 then.
Okay, cool. So D1
Southern,
beautiful.
Really, really annoying to deal with division. In general, it's really not fun. The seeding that I've got would have round 1 Bournemouth versus Oxford.
Great game.
Brunel versus UEA.
Great game.
KCL versus Bristol.
Yeah.
And
Game.
That's a game.
That's a game that's going to happen.
Hertfordshire versus Kent.
Good game.
That's a good one.
That's a good game.
I like that one.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, they're all guesses. Don't send this to anyone. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, obviously the South is kind of the most unpredictable. I think the South 2 has the most people left, but South 1 is kind of the most unpredictable one, where there's because of Bath. It's Bath's fault.
Bath is ruining it.
It's really hard to predict it because in theory they win out and go above Bristol, and then it's just kind of a toss up between Bristol, UEA, and Oxford.
And
it's a tough one. Again, Brighton is still alive. Southampton is still alive somehow. It won't be either of them. I'll happily eat it if I'm wrong, but it won't be either of them. The
Guesses. Okay, sorry.
Div 1 North is the last one, and that's I've got abuse already for that one. But it's a tough one. I currently have, again, from 1 to 4 as the home team, Nottingham versus Glasgow.
Good game.
Northumbria versus Edinburgh.
No, good game.
Edinburgh Napier
versus Sheffield Hallam.
No, that's a game that will happen.
And UClan
versus Leicester.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
So, and the Scottish division really screws it up because there's so many teams there that could qualify. Literally, pretty much the entirety of that division can still qualify.
Please tell the people what Harriet Watt needs to qualify.
Yeah, so
I was begged basically by Dylan to check how Harriet Watt, because obviously Harriet Watt sit at an 11% chance. And let me get up what the exact thing I said to him was. I know it involves Sterling walking over their game against them.
I thought it was Harriet Watt need to win and then a draw, but it has to be a draw.
Yeah, I think that a team above them has to draw, and they need their game walked over, or they need to win without conceding. Winning without conceding is the better for them. They need to win without conceding, and then I think it's Glasgow and Edinburgh that play each other. No, Glasgow and Stirling.
You're really struggling with the word Edinburgh today, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. No, sorry, Glasgow and Stirling play each other,
and Sterling plays Harriet
Watt. Harriet Watt need to beat Sterling without conceding, and they need Sterling to draw with Glasgow. It can't be Glasgow win or Sterling win. They have to draw so that each team only gets 1 Bucks point, which would allow Heriot Watt to stay above them in third place. Because there's currently like a 4-way tie for third, basically.
And
if they beat Sterling without conceding, fair play to them. If the two draw, then
I mean, I can't see how.
This is not happening.
So listen, that was week. That was the playoff guesses, predictions, guesses. The guess. Don't send it to anyone. We're just trying to have some fun on this British University American football show. Please don't send it to anyone and don't get us in trouble. So week 13, again, it's the last full week of the regular season left with every division. Actually, no. Every division playing. So National Prem, Bullets versus Loughborough, Durham, Beckett, Warwick, Liverpool, Leeds, NTU. SGS take on Cardiff tomorrow. Then SGS take on Exeter on Sunday. Portsmouth versus Birmingham, Glasgow versus Stirling, Edinburgh versus Edinburgh, Napier, Heriot Watt versus Aberdeen, Man Met versus Manchester Tyrants, LJMU versus UClan, Cov Jets versus Hull Sharks, Hallam versus Nottingham Green, Brunel versus Brighton, which will be streamed by Sport Tank, the Lancers versus the Hurricanes, the Killer Bees versus Bristol tomorrow, then Bristol versus Bournemouth at the weekend. Then Swansea also take on Bath. Southeastern, KCL versus UEA. UCL versus Kent in D2. Sunderland versus York. Edgehill versus Lancaster. ARU, DMU. Cambridge Derby. Chichester versus Royal Holloway. Oxford Brooks versus Sussex. Imperial versus QMBL. Bath Spa versus Aberystwyth. And the Plymouth Blitz versus the Gloucestershire Gladiators. I mean, within this, there are a few games that have got some pretty high stakes. I mean, we start up in the Northern Prem. Obviously, it's Warwick win against Liverpool. The division is theirs, which I still think is absolutely mental for Warwick to be able to come up. Obviously, pulled up with Leeds and technically Newcastle and who else? Liverpool. To be able to win the division to be pretty mad. They take on Liverpool, but Liverpool just got their first win. I mean, I would ask you, do you think anything will happen in that game, or do you think it's pretty cut and dry for Warwick at this point?
I think it's kind of pretty. Yeah,
I think it's pretty cut and dry. Leeds versus NTU. I think this game is where we're really going to see the damage that NTU has suffered, because Leeds will have no mercy, especially considering how loud NTU were about the fact that they've beaten Leeds twice in the last 2 meetings. I think that this could end up being quite a bad day out for NTU if the fall off rumours are true.
Why have they fallen off? How have they fallen off?
I don't know.
QB graduated.
I know, but that doesn't account for losing to Newcastle. I think that's fair, right? I'm not being harsh to Newcastle there.
Offense might have been built around him, falling apart. Boom.
Yeah, but they still conceded 42 to Warwick.
Maybe he was also the starting middle linebacker.
No, that doesn't happen. In the Southern Prem, SGS and Cardiff. Given that Cardiff held them to, I think it was 11-6 last time, do Cardiff have a chance to punch their ticket a few days early, do you think?
No.
That would be the funniest result.
It's really funny, but it won't happen.
It'd be funny though. Then obviously SGS versus Exeter. That one's just more for seeding at this point. But I'd say the big one in the Prem South this week is Portsmouth versus Birmingham, because this is all or nothing for the Birmingham Lions. They win, they stay in the Prem. They lose, they're relegated. I mean, and again, we joked about it at the start of the year, but Div 1 Birmingham doesn't sound right.
We say it doesn't sound right, but we're sat here laughing almost, which is quite
But it feels right though.
I think it's like what you said, SJ, a few weeks ago. It's Birmingham was sort of one of the last of the huge powerhouse teams, probably apart from Durham, who Like they haven't really fallen off, but it's. I don't think Birmingham have fallen off. I just think Cardiff have just got stronger.
I think. Do you know what it is? Is that I don't think Birmingham have fallen off. Everyone else has got better, and they've just stayed the same for 6 years now. They've just stayed the same. Nothing's changed.
You know, it's like I think we heard that like they were trying to get some more support to bring people over, and it just wasn't.
Do you know why? Because no one wants to go to Birmingham. Great uni.
Fair. Imagine you tell someone from like California, "Oh, you want to come to the UK?" Yeah, sure. Wow.
Okay, with all due respect, guys. I mean, I like Bristol, but I mean,
it's a shithole.
To be fair, I've only been to, I've never actually been out in Bristol, so I don't know. I've been to Hillside Gardens, SGS, and things.
I've heard there's some really good nights out in Bristol.
Bristol's actually a good night out.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
Then I don't know what I'm talking about then.
Yeah, it's
apparently really popping with like the societies and stuff.
I mean, in the Scottish one, just good games. Nothing to obviously decided playoff seedings, but Napier have got it wrapped up. So Glasgow and Stirling will be good. Northern one, obviously a Manchester derby. You know, the brawl for the crawl happening between Man Met and the Tyrants. Obviously, last time Man Met were made to crawl out of their venue.
Class.
Yeah,
love it.
Strange one. Can they get some retribution? I guess is the answer. LGMU and UClan. LGMU relegated. UClan just going to UClan them. Coventry versus Hull. I mean, it'd be a lot funnier if Hull didn't walk over that game earlier in the season, and this was literally loser goes down, but it's not. So
Coventry is still waiting on
the game balls.
They are, and I told them they have to.
Seriously, they generally want them, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, apparently they really need them.
What did he do again?
Sorry,
he promised to buy them.
He promised to buy them game balls. And again, like they asked me about it because obviously I was going to Coventry the weekend. I'm like, you have to talk to Jamie. I said multiple times, this is not a sport tank thing. You know, I do all of this voluntarily, ladies and gentlemen. I do not have the money to be spending on game balls for the Coventry Jets.
Do you think he? Do you think they've told their SU? They're just like, guys, I think you need more game balls, and they've gone, don't worry. The man that we watch on the telly. Someone's going to get us some.
Probably.
Benefactor.
Where is he? Qatar. Shut up, man. You're lying. You're lying.
Sorry, blokes,
He's going to turn around and be like, have you guys got scammed? Like, what's going on? Like, all of the.
Yeah, he's a teacher in Qatar. Yeah. What, he's Qatari? No, he went to uni in Hull. Right, you're making this up.
Yeah, he's from up north. He lives in Qatar now, and he's promised us some game balls. Yeah, of course, yes, guys.
You can get Falcon too.
It's Hallam versus Green. I think that one will be easily for the Green. Lancers versus Hurricanes. I think will be an interesting one. We'll get to our picks later in a bit. Obviously,
that is a great game.
Great game. But it's not being live streamed. Instead, Burners Brighton.
No, it will be.
Shit game.
It'll be Oxford do their little live stream thing as well, which is quite cool.
To be fair, that's true. Actually, it will be live streamed. I mean, Bath versus Bristol. Obviously, we've already spoken about it. Bath have the potential to win out here against Bristol and Swansea and potentially make the playoffs. That's it. I mean, Bristol beating Swansea by 2. I mean, this is what I get about Swansea. We could easily say like the defense is pretty decent if they can hold a team to 2, but just the offense just must be not good. Am I wrong there in that assessment?
If I was the defense of Swansea, I'd be fucking raging though.
Yeah.
Like you force a fumble and everything, and then you're so
Yeah, but forcing fumble on the 1 yard line is always dodgy territory.
I mean, it's still better than a touchdown, isn't it?
Yeah, slap it in for a touchback, for crying out loud. Just let it ride. KCL and UEA, another good game. UCL and Kent, another good game. I mean, oh, sorry. Do you want to talk about Brunel and Brighton?
No.
I mean, that'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to being there. But I think it's lost some of its shine because of the shutout to Oxford. I thought Brighton would do. I thought Brighton would do a lot better in that game, if I'm honest.
I didn't, but
Cool. To be fair, in D2, I know that everyone has a go at us when we talk about Div 2. There are actually some decent fixtures that will decide who is being promoted. Notably in the Northwestern and the Southern 2, Edgehill versus Lancaster. Last time Edgehill beat Lancaster 10-0. So make of that what you will. And then Oxford Brooks versus Sussex. Both teams are undefeated going in. We sort of had this last year with Sussex and Brighton going right down to the wire, but that's what it is. Oxford and Sussex are the two big games. Then ARU and Derby, not too much there. Cambridge need to beat Derby if they want to, you know. What do they need to do? No, they don't. Okay.
No, they don't need to do shit.
I'm just going to kill them.
Okay. Plymouth versus Gloucestershire. Again, can't see it. Aberystwyth falling to the Bullets 2s, I think, has made it a lot difficult for them. Imperial and QMBL, not much there. So we're going to get into our picks. Hopefully we can get it done in 3 minutes. We've done it for an hour. Okay. Unless anyone wants to talk about anything else. Dear? Anyone? The floor is yours. No?
Cambridge
Okie dokie.
versus Derby.
That's what we said. We said Cambridge versus Derby.
Are you all right, mate? What's going on?
Someone in chat corrected us and said Cambridge versus Derby. That's exactly what we said.
Okay. Let's get into the picks then. Uwe versus Loughborough. What are we having? Uwe. Durham versus Leeds. Beckett.
Durham.
Leeds Beckett.
You what?
No, okay, it's Durham.
No, he took too long between that.
You did take.
No, God, you know that was a joke.
You're about to embarrass yourself in front of the.
Yeah, bro.
Everyone.
Everyone's laughing, man.
Everyone's laughing at you, man. That was a real funny joke. Warwick versus Liverpool. Warwick win the div. Warwick win the div. Cam, who are you picking? Liverpool. Leeds versus NTU.
Leeds.
And then these won't be on the graphic, but we are going to count them. SGS versus Cardiff tomorrow.
SGS.
And SGS versus Exeter. SGS. In the big one, big fixture, Portsmouth versus Birmingham. Portsmouth. Glasgow versus Stirling.
Wow.
Sterling. 24-0 to Napier the week before. No, Sterling for me.
True, Sterling.
Napier versus Edinburgh.
Napier.
Harriet Watt versus Aberdeen. Harriet Watt versus Aberdeen if it gets played. Harriet Watt.
Harriet Watt, walkover win.
Man Met versus the Tyrants.
Manny on the map.
Yeah, Tyrants.
I really do want to pick the Eagles, but I'm not going to, so I'm going to pick the Tyrants. UClan versus LJMU.
UClan.
Coventry versus Hull Sharks.
If the game gets played, Coventry.
Do you know what? I think Hull Sharks are going to go out on their shield. I think they're going to go out on their shield.
Cool, bro.
They might not even go out.
They might get walked over again.
Yeah, fair enough. I know. I'm going with Hull Sharks. Hallam versus
Jamie will.
No, Hallam versus Notts Green.
Green.
And I'm not picking it, but Brunel versus Brighton.
Brunel.
And Oxford versus Hearts. This is going to be a contentious one, I think.
Hearts.
Oxford.
Hearts.
I'm going to get cyberbullied by these guys if Hearts win now.
Southwestern 1 happening tomorrow. Bath versus Bristol. Give me Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Bristol versus Bournemouth. Bristol. Bournemouth. Swansea
Took
versus.
too long there.
No, it's not your show. Swansea versus Bath. Bath.
Bath.
Yeah, Bath.
KCL versus UEA. Give me the Regents.
KCL.
Ooh.
Where's it
Yeah,
at?
KCL. Oh yeah,
KCL.
true. Where's it at?
KCL.
Oh,
okay,
KCL.
yeah.
UCL versus Kent. Kent.
Kent.
Kent. Is that Kent?
At UCL.
Is that Kent?
Ooh.
Well, yep, that's a good point. You would know. You would be the man who knows.
You know when I just went really quiet, it's because I was emailing Tonye to tell him that I swapped, but I forgot 2 weeks ago. Good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Kent.
Okay, good. Good, because I got these off Bucks Play, so you know. In the Northeastern 2, Sunderland versus York. Actually, quite a good game, I think.
Yeah, really good game. I think Sunderland.
No, I feel like I brown-nosed York a bit too much at the start of the season, so I've got to save face and
York.
go with York.
York.
Now, for the Northwestern 2, Edge Hill versus Lancaster. I said it at the start of the season. I need it to come true so I become the smartest man alive. My head just grows.
Not this shit.
Lancaster!
I'm going for Edge Hill.
Yeah, go on. Let's go, chill.
I hate the pair of you. ARU versus DMU.
ARU, because I
I
think
think DMU are going to play the game.
Yeah, ARU.
Cambridge versus Derby.
Derby.
Derby. We'll save that one for last. Imperial versus QMBL. I suppose we have to pick QMBL.
Yeah,
Quimble.
we have to.
Quimble.
Quimble.
Bath Spa versus Aberystwyth.
The boss ball.
Aberystwyth.
Aberystwyth.
We took too long. And the Plymouth Blitz versus the Gloucestershire Gladiators.
Plymouth.
And last but by no means least, the game that will decide the Southern 2. The Oxford Brookes University versus the Sussex Saxons.
Oxford.
Brooks. Oxford Brooks.
Yeah, Oxford Brookes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the final full week rundown. We've laughed, we've cried, we've looked at some maths together, and we'll see you next week on Monday. But we have a live stream tomorrow. It is SGS versus Cardiff. And then on Sunday, it will be Brunel versus Brighton. We'll be back here on Monday. I know we normally have the Monday after Super Bowl off, but I feel like doing 2 Tuesdays in a row sets a bad precedent.
It does.
So, yeah, if you're playing, stay safe. Don't be like Jed. We will see you next week.